Buongiorno, cruisers, and welcome to Pisa. So, Livorno is very common on an Italian itinerary, and you know that it's there, but you really want to go here because this is what everybody wants to see. Livorno is a nice city, but we really want the money shots, just like I got here with my famous picture of the Tower of Pisa, and you can see everybody behind me trying to do the same. So in this video, we're going to show you how to get from Livorno to Pisa. And if you're new to cruise port captain, me and my first mate, the husband, we've been cruising for over 20 years. We visit over 100 ports, and we usually do short excursions on our own to save us money and to also have flexibility and have a better time. So grab your cannoli and your espresso, and let's visit Pisa. So, admittedly, my geography of Italy is not very good. So, I thought I'd give you also an idea of actually where Livorno and Pisa is in relation to the entire country. So, as you can see, it's kind of in the upper part of the boot, as we all know it, and it is definitely on the west side of the country. Now you can see that there are options that I have Livorno on the coast marked, but I also have Pisa, which is a little bit smaller. And then you see a little bit more over to the west, Florence. So that could be an option on this itinerary as well. The basics about Livorno is that it's typically a commercial port. So, like many of the ports that you visit on this itinerary, they're just not really made for cruises and beautiful passenger experiences getting off. So, expect that. As I said, Florence and Pisa are nearby, and that's typically why people stop in Livorno. They don't really want to stay there. They want to see those major attractions in beautiful cities. The currency is the euro, and you should be able to use your credit cards in lots of places, but maybe not in a smaller city like Livorno. So you may want to have some euros with you. Immigration for Italy, for US citizens right now, there is nothing extra to do. The EU is also trying to move to an electronic system like the UK has implemented, but at this time it hasn't been made operational. So check with the US State Department, or if you're a citizen of another country in this big, beautiful world, check out your equivalent of the State Department. The language is Italian, but this being a smaller city and not really quite as commercial, and also being in Southern Europe, don't expect as many people to speak English as maybe you would like in the Scandinavian countries. So Google Translate is going to be your friend, or a lot of smiling and a lot of pointing. And that's how we did it before we had all the electronics. And in the summer, the temperature is, it can get quite warm. So be ready for that with your water bottles and your good walking shoes. And, we have a couple of mottos at Cruise Port Captain: make life a bon voyage. But a second one, important one, is when you're in Italy, there's always time for gelato. Being that Livorno is near Pisa and Florence, you're going to see that your cruise line is probably going to offer several types of excursions, and there's options. So some of the excursions are going to have both cities in it. Maybe the excursions have one city in it. We have done it all in one day. We can't remember exactly when we did it, but we did see both cities in one day. But this is going to make the assumption that you've decided to only see Pisa during this particular cruise. There's always time to come back. You always want to see more. So this is, as we said, it is a commercial port, and you can see how really rough it is right there. The Moby ferry ship is behind me. Isn't that fun? That is an Italian ferry line. So you really are in the middle of a lot of shipping, a lot of ugly buildings, but you're going to get out of it to see some beautiful Italian architecture and experience the La Dolce Vita. From a traveling perspective, to get you an idea of, we'll go in a little bit further of Livorno, where it is in relation to Pisa, that it is 26 kilometers, which is about 16 miles. So I've mapped it using the roads here, really if you were going to be able to drive it. So you get more of a sense of how much space you're talking about. So it's not really hours away, but it is far enough away that you're going to have to use something besides your feet to get there. So let's go through your options. Your options to reach Pisa are, of course, your shore excursions. So our cautions about this is the ones that I looked up. They can be, one was $41 from a third party company. Not too bad, basically for transportation, didn't include ticket prices. And then all the way really long excursions, 10 hours that included Florence and maybe a trip to a vineyard. Um, and I was really shocked how expensive they were. Some of them, after that $41, they jumped to a couple of $100. I saw one excursion that was $1,000 for a day. So if you want to YOLO this one, I guess it's going to be it. But we rarely pay $1,000 for a cruise, so that would be a little too much for us. Another option is you could use a taxi, but that's going to be quite expensive. Imagine going 26 kilometers in a taxi. English might be problematic, so it may be hard to communicate with your driver unless you do have Google Translate available to you. There does seem now that there are some taxi apps available, so that might be more like a ride sharing service. But we also want to caution you too, they're probably not going to wait for you. So you might be able to get there easy, but that driver's probably not going to wait for you to be done with your exploring, and you're going to have to find another taxi on the way back who may or may not want to take you back because it is far away. And then Uber is not available in Livorno right now. It is available in some Italian cities, but not this one. So right now, the ride sharing that I saw, it's not like what we expect. It's not Uber and Lyft, or it wasn't another version. So just kind of take that off of your planning for now. It might change in a couple of years. Who knows? But if you've come to Cruiseport Captain before, we are big fans of the train. And just to give you some comparisons, I remember I said the excursions could be hundreds, if not $1,000. And then I just did this on my phone right before I taped, and a one-way ticket was $4. Yeah, I think you know what the Knappus did. And how you buy a train ticket is you put the train line app on your phone, and then you see the results on the right is actually what I got. So you can buy your train tickets either on your phone. You can also buy them, on the train line's website, or you can buy them in person when you actually get to the train station. So if you've ever watched us this far, you know what we did. We took the train. So this is going to be a little bit more involved. You're going to have to earn those $4 trips. It is going to be worth it. It's not impossible. And I'm going to show you how in this next section. So I'm going to go through the entire timeline of how to get from the ship all the way to Pisa and relatively back. I'm going to slow down talking, and I'm going to animate the slide because it's going to seem chunky. It's not, but it looks like a lot when it's all together. So let's chunk it up for you so you feel confident that you can do this too. So the first part is from getting from the shuttle to Livorno City Center. So most cruise lines offer a free shuttle to do this. It's going to let you off at the Piazza del Municipio, and typically free. We were talking about it that we remember we walked this both times. That we actually walked all the way to the train station. But if it was only about a mile, but if that's not up for you, don't worry about it. You can take the shuttle to the city center, and then you're going to take bus number 1, which is only 5 minutes away too, to get to Livorno Central train station. So don't get too crazy about that. There's just 2 short trips. The first one's about 5 minutes. The second one's about 5 minutes. And then when you get to Livorno Central train station, you're going to get your tickets. The trains to Pisa run about every 20 minutes, so you don't have to, be worried if you just missed it. One's going to come really soon. There are 2 train stations in Pisa Central, and then you see the one that I'm going to mention coming up. So what we did and what we've read from other travelers is to get off at Pisa Central. Even though it's not the closest to the tower, it's kind of from point to point easiest. You don't have to change trains or anything. And of course, that's part of the charm too, is to walk through the city to actually get to where all the attractions are. And then the next stop, of course, you're going to do the touring. You're going to see the tower. You're going to see several other things. And then when you're done for the day, you have two options. You can go back to Pisa Central, which is going to be the easiest thing to do because that's a direct um, train from Pisa Central to Livorno Central. Or you can also pick up the train from Pisa Rosario, Rosario, Rosario. Yeah. And but if you do that, you're going to have to change at one point to get back onto that train to Pisa Central. They're both nearby, so it's really just what you want to do. And then once you get back to Livorno Central, you're just going to reverse whatever you did to get back to the ship. It's not too bad. It's a little more clunky than maybe some of the other ports that we've shown you on Cruise Port Captain, but you can absolutely do this and save yourself so much money. It's ridiculous. And you can see this is the end of the game to get to Stazione Pisa Centrale. I should really get into the accents and the theming. Centrale. For your planning purposes, it should take you maybe an hour to do it. So all the times we've been, it took us about an hour to get from the ship to Pisa. So 1 hour is about it, but we always want you to be cautious too. So 2 hours is really worst case scenario. Like everything, you just missed every bus by 5 minutes, or you missed a train by 5 minutes. So 1 to 2 hours. So once you do the whole trip, you're going to get a better sense of how much time it's going to take to come back to the ship. So you always want to watch that. And remember my tip, you always want to wear an analog watch so you don't have to trust your phone and how much time you have left. So let's show you a little bit more around Pisa. Here's the first mate looking at the tower. Fun fact, silly fact, dumb fact, I don't know. We've been to Pisa a couple of times, and both times we've never actually been in the tower. As you can imagine, look at all those people at the bottom, because this is a real picture of our real port day, one of them anyway. It is very busy. We're going to touch on this video about actually visiting the tower, but I would check online if you really have your heart set on it to take a look at and see if you can buy tickets ahead of time. But the tower is not the only game in town in Pisa. I mean, look at this. Isn't this a beautiful square? Campo dia Miracoli. And you can go into this church, and that was, of course, it's a church. So no admission there. I believe we went into the dome as well, and you can see the Italian police officers there. I believe their uniforms are designed by Armani. That's something about Italy. Everybody just looks amazing, and everybody almost always wears sunglasses. And another picture of a beautiful place, Pisa City Hall. So as you can see, there is much to do, and it's simply just to walk around. You should have enough time to have lunch, have a gelato. Remember, there's always time for gelato, and really just enjoy your day and have plenty of time so you don't have to rush to get back. But you just want to be sure that you time it all out, put your top 3 things that you want to see, make sure you get those done, and relax and enjoy your day. My final tip for going on a cruise to Italy is that, unlike maybe cruising in the Caribbean, where everything's a little more laid back, you're just basically doing a bunch of beach days. You might do something a little bit more crazy, but in general, that's what you're doing. A European cruise is usually a lot of walking, and it's a lot of sightseeing, a lot of long days. So if you are not a walker, or just haven't exercised in a long time, we definitely encourage you to probably start getting those miles up so you can enjoy your vacation to the fullest. not be so tired. And all you have to do is just kind of start working up the mileage. I looked on the excursion for one of the cruise lines and it said you needed to be able to walk 3 miles to enjoy this excursion in Pisa. I don't know if you need to be able to walk 3 miles, which is quite far, 5K, but you do want to be sure that you are doing all you can so you can be healthy and enjoy your experience. So, get out there, get on that treadmill or walk outside, and be sure to do all that you can so you have a fantastic voyage. Thanks for joining us today on Cruise Port Captain and our tour of Pisa and how to get from here to there. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Sure, we are happy to help. As always, liking this helps us a lot in the world of YouTube. And if you found this valuable, just take a tiny second and hit subscribe for us. That again helps us in the YouTube universe. We love making these videos, but getting that feedback from you is a big help as well. And as you can see, we started have a planner available that's available in the comments as well, so you can go through your thought process of creating the best port day possible. If you need anything else, please let us know. Otherwise, ciao and make life a bon voyage.